So the first document I would like to talk about is a passage from the Declaration of Independence, which says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." So, I started to draft some ideas about equality. Buddhism certainly has something to say about all beings are equal and wanting happiness and not wanting suffering and so forth. But you know that already, so I won't belabor that point. The issue of what are rights is very interesting, so I started to play around with some ideas about where do rights come from? Do they come from God? Do they come from the government? Where do rights come from? But then I scratched that out too. And I want to go right down to the end of that passage to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Isn't that an amazing phrase? That somebody, almost like 250 years ago now, said that we're establishing a country that believes that everybody should have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Happiness is elusive, isn't it? My parents always told me, oh, do whatever you want, dear, as long as you're happy. I sometimes say it would have been easier if they told me to be a doctor, right? At least that's something clear. But in a way, I did fulfill their instruction. I've pursued this path, which is basically teaching how to be happy, how to be free of suffering. So recently the Dalai Lama was giving some talks in Colorado. Actually, he was traveling around the United States in June. And I listened to a couple of talks that he gave in Colorado. And one of the audience members asked His Holiness, what is the meaning of life? Or what is the purpose of life? I can't remember exactly which one he asked. And His Holiness answered, happiness. And that's so surprising. It's like, what? Just happiness? That's the meaning of life? So it sounds very simple, but it's also very profound that, of course, we all want to be happy. His Holiness likes to pull science into it, showing how, even from an evolutionary standpoint, happiness is beneficial to our survival as a species. That when we're happy, our immune system is better, our judgment is better. When we're angry and upset, then our immune system is suppressed. We don't make very good decisions. And so maybe just in terms of survival of the species, happiness is important. But those of us who are sort of plagued by these questions about what is life for, that's not quite good enough either. We don't just want to survive, we want to fulfill our potential. So this is the part that's interesting to me, is that this phrase here, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, to me, we would call that having a meaningful life. I think our teacher, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, he sums that up as, how to have a meaningful life. He's given talks about that. There's some book written like that, how to have a meaningful life. Now, isn't that an interesting idea that maybe the government can support that? That maybe what an enlightened government would do would be to help everyone have a meaningful life. We have a lot of different ideas about what makes it meaningful, but not simply to survive, but to actually fulfill our potential.